Hey, Snap Nation. This is Derek from the Brand Performance team here to talk to you about the new Myzone rollout, go over some quick overview information, and mostly kind of find out what questions you owners have that our BPS team can kind of help with and see exactly what you guys really need that support with as far as sales, marketing, getting it in the hands of your members. I do encourage you all to check out the Myzone team's tech onboarding webinars as well. They're currently posted up in the portal, and the 4-part series does have kind of the intro stuff to getting the system set up, getting yourself logged in, and kind of getting that tech side of it as well. Today we'll kind of go over some of the performance, sales, and member-facing stuff too. Any questions you have along the way, definitely please keep me posted. Oh, we already got a question. Okay, so first question is, will this stuff be posted on the portal as well? And yes, this video will be posted up in the portal, and I'm going to go through and kind of type up the questions we have and try to include those as well for those that weren't part of the conversation too. So welcome all questions. Thank you. Like I said, in this presentation, we'll cover kind of where to find some of these important resources, an overview of the Myzone tile and zone system, some heart rate kind of zone stuff, some benefits and uses of the Myzone system for your members, and hopefully some good Q&A like I talked about. Okay, so information resources. I'm going to say the most common question we've been receiving is, why doesn't my club number work, or what's my facility code, or how do I get this thing activated? And the first thing you guys want to do for sure is contact the Myzone team and get your club's unique facility code. And yes, this is different from your club number. It'll be in the form or fashion of SFUS, so 4 letters, SFUS, and then a 3-digit code, maybe 4 digits now that we're up to so many clubs. But again, that'll be different from your club number, and you'll have to get that directly from the myzone@liftbrands.com email, that team, and that's the only way to get it. And once you have that, you can actually get your system registered, activated, and then start using it right away too. Excuse me. Another question came in. How do I get, yes, okay, so yeah, to get your facility code, you'll literally just email myzone@liftbrands.com. They'll take care of you right away. And then past that, any tech questions, you can also ask them. Or otherwise, once you get that Myzone facility code, you can log into your owner's portal, the e-learning library, the marketing portal. There's a bunch of resources there. This Myzone playbook here on the right-hand side is actually from that portal as well. So once you get the facility code, that's really the first step to getting into this system here too. And once your system is up and running, our BPS team will be your best source for marketing, sales, personal training info, how to incorporate that into your sales programs, get it in the hands of your members, anything like that. And do definitely check out the Myzone Owner's Playbook like I talked about. And also this Myzone Moves YouTube channel as well. They have training videos posted up every week. They have different details on each of the different zones, benefits the blue zone, cons the red zone, et cetera, how to incorporate, you know, TRX or kettlebell and just the yellow zone in your workout. So again, very detailed. The company's been around for a while, pushing a lot of training information like that. And like I said, if you have any questions or tech issues with your belt, your Myzone system, how to hook up to the TV, anything like that, please contact the Myzone team at myzone@liftbrands.com, and they'll be kind of the best bet for your tech stuff like that. Just wizards with that stuff. Okay, so this is Myzone. Hopefully this is kind of familiar. If it's not for you guys, like I said, all you need to do is get your facility code and you'll be up and running. So if you have the system set up, you'll recognize the tile on the left, which is what all users will see. And again, there's the phone app on the right, so it's the same tile. They always have the exact same, you'll see here, their name or nickname, the percentage of their max heart rate. So again, each person's gonna have a different max. That percentage will scale directly to that user's maximum heart rate. They also have their current heart rate, which is, you know, to the second updated. It's exactly real time. They also have their calories burned in that session, the zone color that correlates with that percentage zone, you'll see here on the bottom, and then also the MEPs earned. And the MEPs are the Myzone effort points, and that's kind of the gamification system. As you're working out, Myzone rewards different durations and different intensities with different amount of points. And those points are often converted into raffle tickets. They get you in the leaderboard. Most of the challenges you'll see are through the Myzone effort points and usually through specific colors. You can have it based on, you know, percentages or calories burned, but the most efficient way to really maximize and make it equal for all users is going to be that percentage of their maximum heart rate. Okay, and like I said too, is if you have the facility code and you don't even have your TV or Myzone system set up yet, as long as you have the free app downloaded, again, it's completely free. There's no premium version. It's just one thing. It's the Myzone app. It's free. Once they download it, it's good to go. And you can download that for your staff, yourself, and actually start using this product even before you launch the main TV display, the big launch, call it, into your club. And again, you'll see the same exact thing. It's going to have the same nickname, color. See, it's British spelling there. And then heart rate, the battery life will be about the only thing different for, I guess it will show it too, on the phone view. It may drain a little bit faster on the phone, but again, it's going to be the exact same thing. And the phone does actually have, as you see down here, a stopwatch, a timer, and kind of some different circuit things as well too. So love the phone view. The most common thing they're going to see is this tile on the right, or sorry, the left-hand side when they're in the club. If they're outside of the club, they could be in the boundary waters up here in Minnesota, or stay down in Cancun or on some bay, or 100 miles away from a gym. If they have that phone app on and their belt, they're within range of their phone, it'll record it the exact same way, keep them on the leaderboard, all the points will still track, so they'll be good to go, everything like that. Look at a quick question here. How do you choose the name? Okay, so who chooses and how do you choose the name or nickname, the question says. Okay, that's usually done during time of sign-up, so when you're actually registering that person's belt. If you're the club registering a user's belt, you can kind of ask them, hey, James, what would you like your name to be? I could have it be your first name, or it could be, Maverick, or Turbo, or, Princess, Wonder Woman, anything like that. So you can literally make up the name, and when you do register it through the system, it's a little bit shorter. If you go through the app, I have seen names a little bit longer, actually, too. So that's kind of one little caveat there. If you want a longer name, do change it through the app. Excuse me. And users can change this in the Myzone app once they're registered, too. So if you start me off, my name is James, and I want to change it to, Turbo, I can do that later on. Or if I just want it to be a number, if I'm a little bit more shy, I don't want to nickname a name at all representing myself, I just want to have a number, can have it as well. Very good questions. There's another one in here too. What's the difference between the phone and the tile? Okay, so the only difference between the phone app and what they see on their main TV, the tile, like I said, will be the exact same representation. The only difference will be this feature at the bottom, which has, like I said, a stopwatch, a regular timer. I think there's one other time feature here. I'll have to jump in. I haven't used the phone app in a while, but again, that's free to use. Once they download it from the App Store or the Android Store, depending on their phone, they'll have that, and it's always updated. There's no premium version. It's just one time free. They've got it. So that's the only difference. There's the phone app, just a little bit of timing stuff. And on the main TV, you will see the time duration up in the top right-hand corner, showing current time and everything like that, too. Good questions. Thank you. Oh, TV. Somebody said what kind or what size of TV. Honestly, the brand doesn't really matter. I've had a couple clubs go with very, off-brand ones and no issue. Westinghouse, like the very cheap ones. I would make sure you have a good HDMI connection on the TV. It actually has the HDMI input. And then refresh rate might come into a little bit. But again, the TVs you guys are going to find nowadays should be good. And even if the TV's within, say, 5 years old, as long as it has that HDMI input, that's the big thing. Regarding size, the tiles can get kind of cramped, especially if you have a leaderboard running on the right-hand side, and then also some ads running in the middle to display the Myzone ads, your own club's personal ads. And we can also talk about, this will be the second part webinar coming up, you can have local businesses give you kind of one-page digital ads, and you can post those inside of your Myzone screen, rotating every, I think, 3 to 15 minutes, every couple hours, depending on which are the settings. But so back to the TV size, we recommend at least a 40-inch to 60-inch, somewhere in that range, depending on your use, club, where it's going to fit. Past 60-inch, it's kind of getting a little bit big, and unless you have a lot of stuff filling it up, it can be almost too big. And under 40, it can just get cramped. Again, if this is going to be just a standalone TV in a group studio room, and you're not going to have more than 4 or 5 people on it, you could get away with like a 36, but I really would stress, right around a 40, I'd say is prime, and then up to 60 depending on the location and what you're going to do with it as far as ads. Good question. Okay, zone overview. Okay, so heart rate training and training zones, cardio zones, energy expenditure based on your energy use isn't anything new, but the thing that Myzone does and does extremely well, they kind of make it very visual and easy to understand. And we'll kind of go over a very brief overview of training zones right now. If you have any questions on heart rate training zones, energy and calorie expenditure, the idea of based on my intensity and duration of my movement, what am I utilizing for energy throughout my body, that's going to be a big part of this too. If that's anything new to you guys, please reach out to your BPS, weekly and just talk about heart rate training zones and how to incorporate Myzone with that. And again, this is not a new science. It's very old. It's been around for a while. It's very standard and true. The big thing is it's gamified with the color zones, and Myzone really utilizes that to keep people motivated. So this is nothing new. The way Myzone uses this information to motivate, encourage, and engage members, that's the big thing. So if you don't know anything about heart rate training, kind of look at this chart, go through a little bit, but definitely reach out to your brand performance specialist, check out the Myzone Moves page, and really just kind of give yourself a quick refresh or a primer on heart rate training in general. And basically the concept, we kind of just touched on it now, but the concept of my notes here is what your body burns for energy really depends on the intensity and duration of the movement you're performing. So depending on what your goal is, you might want to stay in a certain zone, be burning more fat, burning fewer calories overall, or maybe working more on cardiovascular. Remember, cardiovascular means your heart, lungs, and circulatory system. It has nothing to do with fat. And that's one thing where you'll have a lot of people working on cardio for weight loss. This system will help you illustrate to them that cardiovascular work, look at the name, cardiovascular, it's breathing, blood flow. So the big thing is kind of separating cardiovascular work from fat burning and showing how, it's a lot to do with diet, nutrition, and exercise you're doing all together, but just to make sure that people aren't working too hard, too often, and actually being counterproductive. So that's a big thing. If they're trying to be, losing weight and burning fat, the last thing I want to see a new client do is jump on the treadmill and always be working in this red to yellow zone. And Myzone does actually kind of disincentivize being in the red zone too much. It's the same amount of Myzone effort points per minute, points per second, as the yellow zone. And again, the red zone, we're kind of jumping ahead here. The red zone, you just want to touch and spike into every now and then. If you are staying in the red zone for minutes on end, that might be a great thing. You might be a marathon runner who has a very high threshold, can keep himself at that, keep him or herself at that, but it might be that your belt needs to get reset. And I do encourage you all, especially with your members, once you get that initial belt, it's going to be based off of your age and your heart rate. Do try to get it up into that 90%. If you're feeling okay and you feel like your max should be higher, do push it over that 100%. If it says based on my age, that my max heart rate is 185, but I've been working out for a while, maybe I've done some athletics in the past, lungs and heart are good, and I can actually keep myself up at, say, 190, 195, 192, anywhere in that range. If you keep yourself in that range, Myzone, the system will actually reset your max heart rate to that you've actually been to, to the actual highest point you've been at. So again, Myzone is about your training zones. It does adapt to you and your abilities. We're kind of jumping way ahead here, but again, like I said, there's a lot to talk about with heart rate training zones, energy expenditure, energy utilization, anything like that. And the big thing, like I said, is this isn't new, but the Myzone system makes monitoring and tracking your heart rate, effort, and recovery as well. Your recovery is big with this, very easy through the visual zone system. So again, lots of questions about this. We could have hours of webinars just on different training zones, pros and cons of each, and depending on the background and goal for each person, where they want to stay. So again, any questions on this, definitely reach out to your brand performance specialist for sure. All right, benefits and uses. Okay, we'll talk about some of the main benefits and uses of the Myzone system. The big thing, like I said, it's a heart rate monitor, but it's not just a heart rate monitor. It's a very accurate and gamified and engaging visual effort recovery system. There's the exercise reward platform incorporated as well, actually motivating and rewarding people for working out, showing that effort. It's a huge social fitness networking platform. And again, this comes down to a Snap-specific platform, and you're going to hear, I know one of the objections, someone just typed in now too, how does this compare with Fitbit? Okay, we can talk about that kind of offline, and there's actually a sheet that came with the Myzone kit that should compare wrist trackers with heart rate straps. And the big thing is, when you hear that from members, you hear that from your trainers, you hear that from anyone around this, try not to get into that whole Fitbit versus Myzone versus Garmin versus Apple Watch. It ends up being kind of like a Chevy versus Ford versus Dodge. Everyone has their favorite brand, a brand that they've used for a while, their friend turned them on to, their parents handed down to them, anything like that. I'd say Myzone is very competitive, but don't try to compete in that, this versus that, Myzone versus Fitbit. Really just make it about, this is a Snap Fitness platform, connecting all the snaps worldwide. Inter-club stuff, from club to club, nation to nation. There's a lot of different aspects of this that really is about engagement and community. So try to kind of steer away from the, oh, this one's 99.6 accurate to an EKG compared to the Apple Watch is only 94.4%. The minor percentages aren't going to be huge. The big thing is this is a social engagement piece. It helps unify us all together, and it's going to be about the challenges and the social aspect too. So let's get kind of touching on that. Okay, like I said, it's not just a heart rate monitor. This is a visual effort and recovery system. It's about kind of tracking their workout intensity when they come down and recover back into that. So very, very, very important for circuit training and also for weightlifting too. Weightlifters will pretty much be where the second main component or population that kind of says, oh, this isn't for me. I just lift weights. I'm not a cardio guy. I'm not a runner. This is not just for running. The big thing is the current workout graph will show them kind of minute by minute in those different zones, those colors. There's also a zone match feature, so if in your club or if you have a personal training client and you know based on their goal you want them to stay in that 65 to 75% range or 75 to 80% range or 82 to 85, it can be very specific with that too. You can have a certain color come up and actually show them when they're in that zone. And throughout classes, if you're having a class and you want everyone to stay between that 80 and 85% zone, each person's going to have to work a different intensity. If I'm 20 years old, 130 pounds, versus 50 years old, 220 pounds, a good 40 pounds overweight, that person's going to have to work a little bit less intensely compared to that person who's in their 20s. They're going to have to be moving pretty good to get their younger heart up that high. So like I said, very good integration with classes. The fact that it can keep people working with each other, against each other, with themselves, against themselves. It's a very kind of competitive but very friendly competition kind of nature like that too. And this really goes into the zone match system a lot with this and the phone app view of it. But the different zone they're in, what's coming up next, the duration of those zones, where they've been, their match percentage during that session. So you have someone who's in great shape, but the point of this class is not to get into the red or stay in the blue, show how healthy you are. It's to get into that zone and match that zone throughout the whole class. So you might have someone who's in good shape, bad shape. It's the people that can actually focus on this, watch their heart rate, measure and kind of gauge themselves, learn their bodies, kind of where they're at, where their expenditure's at. That's going to be the big part of the zone match too. Okay, now we'll talk about the post-workout email graph, which I've got to say is literally my favorite part of the whole system. I don't look at the app or the tile up on the screen very much during my workout, but like I said, I really like these post-workout breakdowns of all the data. I'm a nerd about data stuff. You guys are too, you will love this as well. And any trainers out there, you can literally see, minute by minute in a session where your client was or where you were yourself. At the end of the session, you can see a breakdown of the different zones. So overall duration, where did I spend my time working out? I may have been in the green, blue, yellow, green. Where was my total duration time? What MEPs did I earn? How much time did I spend? Excuse me. And if you combine this with a little bit of intermediate to advanced knowledge of what your body's actually burning for fuel in these different zones, these intensity zones, you can kind of see that, where you were burning a lot of fat versus stored sugar versus kind of that free-flowing blood sugar, that muscle glycogen as well. So can really get deep on this. And again, the last part, I kind of had to go kind of funny with the view because of clipping it in. But each month, if you achieve a certain ranking of MEPs based on Myzone, also your personal ranking, you can achieve statuses too. And if you maintain a status, so see if I keep this bronze status, if I keep it up, right, have at least 1,300 MEPs each month, I'll move to silver. And then it's like 6 months that silver gets me to gold. And then it's like 12 months that gold gets me to platinum. 3 years that platinum gets you to diamond. So it's a very long-term engagement process where it's about that personal status too. If you don't care about how many calories you burn, average heart rate, average effort to kind of actually push out what you burn for calories, what you burn for stored energy, you really just might want to care about the MEPs and that status. And that will show you that, hey, I am very, very consistent. How consistent? I've been reaching my goal for at least 3, 6, 9, 12, 36 months. So again, it's that instantaneous data, it's that overall data, and again, it's that continuing data as well. So a big thing with that, actually showing up here the date, duration, my belt number, the MEPs I earned over that workout, the time, average effort, calories I burned. And like I said, if you kind of look at the average effort, average heart rate, your zones, and the calories burned, I could actually start to break down how many of these calories came from body fat, muscle glycogen, if I got a little bit too high, too fast, too long, started burning some muscle tissue, or stored glycogen as well. And the last thing, we'll kind of get into the social stuff too. You can easily share these workouts to Facebook or Twitter with 2 clicks. Click for the icon, I click to confirm the post, right to your Facebook. And if you can start getting your members to do this, posting their workouts, tagging your gym, then you share that workout on your Facebook page, you boost 1 or 2 of these, all of a sudden everyone is seeing these Myzone workout graphs, everyone's asking about that. And again, just love seeing this graph with that nice steady warm-up, the different sets you have, long breakdown, and even after I'm done working out, heart rate does stay elevated throughout the day, kind of picking up some calls too. But again, really love the data. So it's all about data, very easy and friendly to understand. As you can tell, this is my favorite part of the data. Okay, reward platform. Myzone rewards your effort, rewards your results. That's a big part of this too. Some of the ways it does that, there are the global Myzone challenges. The Myzone corporate team actually does have global challenges that come out, and they're usually pretty great prizes too, a lot of engagement worldwide with this, and even just comparing and competing with people worldwide, it has that global feel too, and that's what's going to bring Snap Fitness into the next, from small towns into the real world. Like I said, global and national Snap events too. So Snap, in addition to Myzone, will have its own events as well, quarterly, biannually, depending on kind of what's going on. The current one is the Live Your Fit Challenge, which does have a $5,000 grand prize with a couple $500 runner-up prizes as well. And the big thing is there's always incentive to be working out beyond the reports we talk about, all the stats, the kind of nerdy stuff, the data that I like. There's actual tangible results too, tangible rewards, excuse me. $5,000 is real. I've seen the people in the gym here, our home club, really kick it down with this challenge just to get those raffle tickets. For every 100 MEPs is getting them a raffle ticket to win that $5,000. Our team, we actually made a team, just the 10 of us, of a green zone challenge. For spring, it's now only MEPs from the green zone count. And there are people who are working out who never really tried to sit in a certain zone, never really worked on, the Stairmaster, stair mill, kettlebell swings, anything like that. They're focusing on that green zone for this challenge. It's motivating and incentivizing them to do a certain thing in the green zone. Next month it might be yellow and blue. It's probably going to be yellow and blue, to be honest. I'm making up this challenge. And it actually gets them to do something specific because it's a challenge, because there's a leaderboard, because that first workout, they weren't even trying. They noticed themselves in the green zone a little bit. They decided to stay in that, to watch their heart rate, not let it get up into the yellow, and make sure they're working hard enough to keep it out of the blue. Little things like that. It's just a huge gamification and just another reason to work out and have focus with it too. In addition to those challenges, we really encourage you guys to have your local in-club challenges as well. And this could work for new members, existing members. You could be sending this out an email saying, kickstart your exercise routine with a Myzone personal challenge. And there's a challenge of maybe earn 1,000 MEPs in your first month or 1,500 MEPs in your first 3 months combined with a start date, expiration date. You would choose the target, the style of target. Maybe it's 500 MEPs from the blue zone, from the green zone. Again, you get to pick where it is. You pick the reward and the value. Now, if I'm a terminated member thinking about coming back and I get an email saying, hey, you could win 3 months free or win a free Myzone, win a free personal training session, anything like that. Now, first of all, I'm looking at this. I want to get the reward. I have to buy a Myzone belt to get in. I have to be a member again, so I'm signing back up. And I'm actually trying to work towards a target, work towards a goal, so I'm much more engaged, more likely to stay. Again, the local in-club challenges can be a great way for you to reach your current members, terminated members, prospects, anything like that. And if there's any kind of challenge where a Myzone belt is required to get into that challenge, that's a selling point right there. Is if you want to win this, you have to participate in the challenge by utilizing the belt with the rest of our members. Really trying to make it all about your entire club overall, making this a community aspect where it's not just a one-off where only certain people get Myzone belts. Everyone has a Myzone belt. Your club is about Myzone. That's how you gauge your club, is by the Myzone kind of leaderboard and engaging with other people. It's a great way for group classes to get ramped up, and there's actually competition prizes in there too. And if you can get a good, engaged, fun-loving group working towards the goal, working hard, having fun with some tiles up on that TV, you take some Facebook pictures of that and post it. That is Facebook fodder. That is great content. That is, weeks of content from one class, just having people wearing their belts, looking at the screen, kind of engaging themselves and each other in a different way, trying to stay in or out of these zones. I mean, you want to stay out of the red and yellow zone. Only people, your zone match can be blue and green. There's a lot of different stuff you can do with this. And it's said on the right over here, turn your workouts into a game. Digital fitness is the new wave. That's how people are engaging now. Everyone is going towards that tech side. But what about tech? Not everyone likes the data like I like. People like seeing colors, challenge, reward. They want to feel good about something. Myzone is the carrot on a stick. If they know they want to stay in that red zone a couple more seconds to reach that full minute, get those points, that's going to be what pushes them over the edge too. And again, kind of moving right into that personal benchmarks. Even if you have a member who's not a PT client, they're not a group fitness kind of person, they work out at 2 in the morning on their own, they hardly speak to many people, that's just the time they work out, they can have that personal benchmark of knowing they are consistent. They're hitting their MEP goal, they're hitting their calorie count goal, anything like that. And with that leaderboard, even though I'm working out at 2 in the morning, I can see where I rank compared to other people as far as how often am I working out, how much am I burning each time, how consistent am I. I can be participating in a challenge at 2 in the morning when the rest of the entire class is doing it at 4 in the afternoon, 5 in the afternoon, anything like that. So again, it's that personal feel as well as the global feel. So from the worldwide to the, as solo. It's pretty much that kind of integration, that engagement that gets people focusing on something. And it's focusing on the results and the rewards. The tangible rewards are nice, but again, it's just that gamification, that virtual and visual appeal of it too. But there's no substitute for a $5,000 grand prize. That does get people moving. Then kind of moving on to the next one too, it's going to be a conversation starter. Having a Myzone, having that workout graph, having a post on Facebook, having your name on number 1 or number 5 on that leaderboard. It's going to be a conversation starter. And that's one thing where your members will start talking to each other, start talking to staff. Staff will talk to members more outwardly too. This is going to be a great thing for getting people to talk about their fitness goals. And talking about your fitness goals is one of the best ways to actually keep focused on them. And focusing on your goal is one of the best ways to reach it too. You got to think about it. It's got to be real. It's got to be live too. Okay, so a social hub, like I talked about. Excuse me. Now, Myzone does have multiple avenues of social engagement, rewards, and community, and we'll talk about a few different ones here as well. Okay, the in-club leaderboard. Now, this is an option you can choose to have on all the time with your tiles, or depending on the amount of users you have. If you have a challenge going or not going, you can also take the leaderboard off. And that will show the MEP count for anybody in the current just total MEPs in your club, and also the challenge leaderboard as well. There's the Myzone app connection as well. So again, definitely encourage your members, your staff, yourselves to get that Myzone app on your phone, because you actually have connections to that as well. Kind of like with Facebook, anyone who has a Snap, has a Myzone belt registered and has Snap Fitness as their facility code, which is going to be all of us watching this, you can actually engage and interact and connect with different Snaps. So I encourage you to go to your connections tab. It's kind of a little face to people. Little icon, I wish I had the icon here, but it's a little kind of face, going to be on the right-hand side of your Myzone app. It's like connections. It'll refer you a couple connections, usually just based on you having Snap Fitness, so you might recognize some of those. Otherwise, you can type in the first and last name or the nickname if you know it. So I'll tell you mine right now is capital D, Spode, so D-S-P-O-D, or just look up Derek Spoden, D-E-R-E-K, S-P-O-D-E-N, and you can friend me. I'll definitely accept all friend requests I get. And then you can see my workouts. You can comment on my workouts. You can just do a like on my workout. You can say, hey, looks like you're really pushing towards the green challenge. Are you over 550? Because that's what I'm at. Little incentive, little pushes like that towards each other. Or I could have a hard workout where it was like the first time this was true. First time I went outside running in a couple months. As we're hibernating here in Minnesota, we get a little glimpse of spring, some sun and some green, and we try to go out running full bore, and we have a really hard workout sometimes. And if you know the person, that was the case, you can comment on that. Like some of my friends did say, hey, must have been your, out of the cave run. As I can see, it went right from the blue to the red zone. Little things like that. You can share successes, struggles, and challenges, anything like that too, where you can say, hey, I just got into Tabata training, and this felt really tough. Look at my workout. I thought it was supposed to be an interval. I was staying in the red the whole time, red, yellow the whole time. And you can comment, talk to each other, anything like that. So the connection is huge too. And having that support, local member support, having your trainer being a connection, having someone here at Snap Fitness Corporate, your BPS, can be a connection on your on your Myzone app as well, excuse me. Anything like that. The trainer client is one that I really promote too, where it's a great way for trainers to watch their clients outside of the gym and help keep them accountable when they're not on those sessions with them as well. Oh, Facebook posting, like we talked about, it's literally a 2-click system to get that Myzone workout posted up on Facebook. And I'll tell you right now, if you do it from the app, it actually does show kind of a screenshot of that graph, and people love the graph as far as Facebook goes. If you post on your Facebook page, any family members, anyone you have who's in the fitness neighborhood, hey, what was that? What were you using? What's this graph? I saw you were doing some workout and it had a bunch of color-coded stuff. Again, conversation starter. That's a big part of it too. I really encourage you and your staff to post your workouts on Facebook, just to get people to be talking about that in your club. I would almost print off one of your, again, I'm all about that post-workout email, but print off one of those post-workout emails if you have a good workout and leave them sitting around the gym. Just, again, get those conversations going. Hey, I saw this printout. It looks like somebody had a workout with this graph. Were they on like some digital thing? Did they do some testing? No, it's actually just a chest strap. We have a few available for trial right now if you'd like to check it out. Boom, conversation starters, little stuff like that. Again, with the Facebook, if you get your members to post their workouts, tag your gym, and then you can also post that on your Facebook page and boost that, showing that, hey, our members are utilizing and loving the Myzone system here. Look at Sally's workout from today. Again, you can use nicknames or pseudonyms and stuff like that if you'd like to. Social media awards. Oh, the Snap Fitness community as well. Like I said, there's a global atmosphere around this, but again, this is a Snap Fitness initiative. Every Snap Fitness nationwide and pretty soon globally, we're dang near there. So pretty much every Snap Fitness worldwide will have the Myzone system. Now that allows you to do a lot of different marketing, challenging, and promotion, having that set. So once we have everyone on the same page, we can really go forward with this single move and this single push and kind of unify around that, and can have club-to-club challenges. If you guys have already had your Myzone system up and running, you can challenge other clubs and their members or their staff to challenges. If you're a multi-club owner, this is huge for you. I definitely have every one of your clubs challenging each other on a MEP challenge or a calorie challenge, or it's always good, belts sold, users registered, that's good too, but I'm really thinking about the fitness metrics of it as well. You can do it for just, the hard baseline business stats, but again, it's really about that social network with the workouts and the information too, that kind of gamification. So big on the club-to-club challenges. We could have country-to-country challenges, global challenges, as now we're all on board with this, state-to-state challenges, anything like that. You could challenge, a corporate store. We'd have a challenge where the BPS team has to try to beat the MEP counts of, you clubs, and that'd be fun. That'd be fun. Lots of stuff we can do with this too. And as we're all getting into this, we can have a lot of different discussions. Oh, here's a question right here too. How do we create? Okay, Sarah, the creating challenges we'll talk about a little bit in the next one, and that's going to be very in-depth within your Myzone system. That's what I kind of want to offline with you and pull up Myzone. We do have the Myzone system up in our BPS loft now, so I can actually pull up the same owner tiles, unlock the admin, create a challenge, and go through this stuff with you. It sounds a little bit complex. Once you're actually in the Myzone system, when you're on the screen, it's a little bit easier. It's a lot of it easier. Just choosing the different metrics. What do you want to be counted, calories or MEPs? Do you want all zones to count? Who's going to be invited? Do you want to challenge a different facility? Again, it's very easy to go through once we're looking at the same screen. So any questions on that, we'll definitely offline about that. In creating challenges, I'd say I wouldn't have more than one a month, but you can have, 10 different challenges a month. You can have a certain group class. They have their own challenge. You can have a challenge for the general club. Everyone's included. We're just counting total MEPs. Maybe for your personal training clients only, you're only going to count the blue and the red zones, or the yellow and red zones, or just the green zones. Anything like that. You could have just your staff in a challenge, where to make sure your staff is using their belts, they're required to get 1,000 MEPs in any zone. Or you want to see them, wearing it during their shift. It's going to be mostly that gray blue. But anything like that, really getting the challenges posted up. So very good question. Any questions about creating challenges, interacting with the challenges in the app, definitely contact your BPS or the Myzone team. And I really would emphasize looking at the e-learning portal, as there are about 4 videos on creating challenges, and they're all like 30 seconds too. They're very quick, very well done, kind of like a little learning library they have as well. Excuse me. Okay, we kind of covered a lot of this. The big thing, like I said, real-life conversations. Having members with belts in club, they'll be talking to each other about their workouts. They'll be talking offline as well, too. I say real-life conversations. That could be just over the app as well. But ideally, you're going to see more people talking in your club, talking to you and your staff, talking to each other outside of the gym, using the Myzone belts outside of the gym, and it'll be a great day when in your community, you go to a community event, and you see, well, this is going to be kind of funny, but don't be looking. Okay. You're going to see a bump in the middle of their chest where their Myzone belt is on, and you'll notice, hey, that person's wearing a Myzone. And they're wearing a Myzone too, and you can talk to people about walking out in the community, doing gardening, just going for a walk, taking part in any kind of carnivals, fairs, anything they're moving, doing, you can wear your Myzone belt. And you can kind of post that workout too. And it's just having that fitness outside of the gym and having the gym be that social hub, kind of moving towards that as well. But again, great conversation starter. We'll kind of sit here and wait and see if we have any other questions. Covered a lot of great questions with the challenges, some of the social aspect stuff. I saw one other question came in. It must have been someone late. So again, if you do need your facility code, the one thing you need to actually get your Myzone up and running, your facility code, it is different than your club number. So definitely contact the Myzone at liftbrands.com, the Myzone team, and they'll get you your facility code. It's going to be something to the effect of SFUS, so Snap Fitness United States, and then a number. And that's going to be different from your club number, so definitely, the Myzone team is the one source to get that. Once you have that facility code, you can download the app, you can start setting your TV up, you can you can be selling belts right away as long as you have that app or that facility code, and they can register it on their own like that too. It is nice to register the belt with the user, especially the first couple, just make sure. It is British English, Australian English, so some things are a little bit different. One thing, and this was an offline question from I had last week, I'll share with you all because I thought it was pretty important. If you are a little bit more advanced and into the system and you're playing with the videos, there are two embedded videos, we'll call them, that Myzone already has in the system that can kind of display and advertise, promote Myzone, like the actual belt kit. I definitely recommend having that play every now and then in the background, especially when you're not staffed, just to get that exposure to people. If you're in the videos setting, it's going to say duration 10 seconds, and it actually means the duration in between, or let's call it the intermission, if we're going to switch to English, American English. So you want to change that duration of 10 to something like 180, which would be 180 seconds or 3 minutes. That means it'll actually play the videos 3 minutes apart. Otherwise, once you activate the videos under the default 10, it's going to have those videos playing every 10 seconds, and that is way too much. That might actually turn people off of the system. There is audio with the videos as well. It's pretty, it's like some peppy kind of, it's got a little Myzone tune. That was probably a really bad example. I'm going to have them edit that out. But it's got a little jingle, and it's a really quick, informative video on the belt. Very visual. It's a great little conversation starter video. I recommend having it up. But do change in your video settings the duration from 10 to something like 180 to even 600, and that'd be, 10 minutes, which still is, pretty frequent. If I'm going to be in the gym for an hour, I should probably see that ad at least 2 to 3 times, but not 5 to 12 times. That's a little bit much. So very good question. Kind of hang out for a couple more here. And again, any questions about the challenges or any in-depth stuff, I'll try to cover in the next one that'll be coming up on next week here. And how to incorporate into 2- and 3-path pricing. And the big thing is, like I said, here's a preview of it. Try to make this as part of all new memberships moving forward. Selling to current members is going to be, I've sold these belts when I was a manager in a small town, Annandale, 3,300 people, mostly blue-collar and seniors. And it is a little bit of tough initial rollout unless your staff is completely on board with the product. They love it. They can talk about it from the heart. They wear it around the gym during their shift, everything like that. And once they kind of get that feel, it's a lot easier. And if you have your new members coming in getting this as part of the program, part of their enrollment, it just becomes a thing before it becomes a thing, if that makes sense. Where your current member will say, hey, I see everybody's got these belts, everyone's, their name up on the screen. Derek, tell me about that. And they're the ones who've already been working out. They've been a gym member for so long. They've been, hopefully getting results already for a couple of years or a couple of months. They don't really know the impact of this. And with a new member, it's much more palatable to kind of get them hooked on the idea of getting off on the right foot, tracking their workouts. Everybody wants to start off with momentum, and Myzone definitely adds momentum. It can be a reinvigoration of momentum for those current members, but again, not everyone is going to be savvy to heart rate technology or tracking stuff. Millennials will jump on this often they'll come up and ask you and already know about it kind of thing. Anything with seniors, this kind of goes into the objections and stuff we'll talk about in the next video. Anyone that has a heart can benefit from heart rate training. If you're a senior and you're not about, I'm not a runner, I'm not a lifter, I'm not trying to get in shape, okay, good then. You can actually make sure you're working out in the blue or green zone, so working out hard enough to have results and have an efficient workout, but you're not working out too hard where it's actually stressing your body, your joints, and your heart and making it unhealthy. So for seniors, it's not so much about the tracking all of their effort, it's are they resting enough? Are they working out just hard enough to get results, but also do it safely? For lifters, like I talked about, they're not going to be tracking their heart rate. They're not going to be up in the yellow and red zone doing cardio very often. But for people who lift, especially if they do supersets, trisets, any kind of circuit stuff, with straight sets, if we're doing 5x5, it's going to be a little bit tough. Powerlifting, it's going to be a little bit tough. But any kind of lifters, it's watching that rest time near the end of their set. If they're doing 8 to 12, 12 to 15 repetitions, kind of bodybuilding style, near the end of that set, they're going to kind of get into that green or yellow zone and kind of sit there for a little bit. They'll often stay at a higher heart rate for, say 30 seconds after their set, and then working up into it in the beginning of the set. And it's about that rest time coming down. Oftentimes, I go back to millennials, it's making sure they don't sit on their phone. When they see they're coming down from the yellow to the green to the blue, they know, hey, I'm in the blue zone. I'm basically recovered. I'm lifting. I don't really need to worry about my breath too much. I am recovered. Get back into that set. or hey, I'm starting my next set, my program from bodybuilding.com says to go off of 60-second or 45-second rest. I haven't recovered. My heart rate is still, it's actually higher than when I started my previous set. So a big part of it, especially when you're taking pre-workout, that can really kind of change stuff with that too. So for lifters, it's about watching that effort recovery kind of relationship through there. And just having that post-workout graph, lifters will see a very, very, very consistent blue-green, 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 very good set. So again, they might not like it or value it too much during the workout, but that post-workout graph will accurately show, you know, how much time they wasted, how efficient they were. And if we're talking a serious lifter who's more into bodybuilding, time efficiency is actually a very big thing. We're talking about doing a 5 to 7 day split, possible 2-a-days. Recovery is huge. They want to know how many calories they're burning so they can eat that back, eat just a little bit more than that or a little bit less than that. So the calorie component is huge too, is literally watching how many calories you burn through a workout. And you can, like I said, wear the belt all day. You can wear it outside of the gym too and see, hey, in a 24 or 12-hour period, how many calories do I burn? How many calories do I burn the day after I had a really hard cardio workout? And you might notice that, hey, my heart rate was actually 10 beats per minute, 10 points higher throughout the entire day than on days when I haven't done cardio recently. So again, it's that overall health aspect too. It's not just the workout for the 30 minutes, 60 minutes, maybe 90 minutes if they're crazy, you know, inside the gym. It's the sleep state too. You can watch night tremors, and I actually did a lot of this stuff with the overnight stuff using an MZ3, but you can watch and see your sleep habits and see if you have night tremors all the time, if it's at a certain time, and then maybe correlate that with alarms or things happening in your apartment. Going on the personal story there, but yeah, you can wear it overnight and actually see, you know, what your body is doing post-workout and just in general over time as well. Okay, let's spurt up a couple questions here. What's the difference between the MZ1 and MZ3? You mentioned MZ3 that you had. Okay, the MZ1s were kind of the one we had for our rollout or mass rollout. They're going to be about the same. They just have a battery, like a coin cell battery versus an onboard rechargeable battery. Pros and cons to that. Pros, it's a little bit easier to replace. You just get another battery. It's a CR2032 or 2034, I believe, but it's going to be a common watch battery. You get them at a gas station, Walgreens, you know, convenience store, $2.50 to $5 a piece. I mean, they're pretty cheap. It's very common, 2032 or 2034, depending. The rechargeable MZ3s are a little bit bigger, a little bit heavier. I mean, by like, you know, 5%. You won't notice too much, but they do have that on-board internal memory, where if I, like I said, I don't use my phone very often, I'm not always watching the TV tile. If I wear my Myzone in the gym, I take a couple laps outside the gym. The MZ3, you know, without my phone by me, I'm taking my laps without my phone by me. The MZ3 will record that data from my workout, my heart rate data, as I'm outside. As soon as I jump back in range of the hub receiver in the gym or my phone, it'll sync those two together and update it immediately. With the MZ1, you'll just want to make sure that person is, you know, in the gym around that receiver or has their phone with them too. And that's the kind of one downside is it's very much about in the club atmosphere, not so much for the person who's doing rock climbing and, you know, they don't have a signal, they don't have Bluetooth on, they're doing triathlons. Did a couple, actually had some clients, did training with them. I haven't done one yet, but had a couple tri clients go through and wear it for the whole race, through the swim, the bike, the run, everything. The MZ3 obviously is going to be the one you want to gauge that. They're not going to have their phone with them the whole time. So that's the main difference. The signal strength is about the same too. It's really just that in the club, out of the club. The cost is the other difference too. So the MZ1s are $25 each to clubs, and the MZ3s are $50. It's a little bit more expensive, double the cost. Personal preference, I do really like the MZ3 that I have. I've been using mine for almost 4 years now, 3.5 years, since I was a manager and a trainer at Snap I worked at. But yeah, I really like the MZ3. MZ1s are great though too. I just haven't used my MZ1 quite as much. But again, it's just that signal outside of the gym. Inside of the gym shouldn't make a difference. The tiles will be the same, nickname, the app is the same, everything else. So literally just the signal strength. Good question. All right, I think we're kind of wrapping up here. See if we have any other questions come in. Very good, interesting questions, you guys. Any other stuff I'll try to definitely incorporate in the next webinar with the sales pricing, challenges, and how to kind of, you know, integrate this into PT, how to actually go to that new customer versus current members. 2-path or 3-path pricing if you're kind of integrating with that too. Those will be the big things we touch on next time. All right, it's looking good. Having any questions? And the stuff we have so far has been pretty good stuff. Like I said, last note, one more time, if you still need your facility code, please reach out to the Myzone team, myzoneliftbrands.com to get that. And once you get that puppy, you're good to go. Start the app download, get the hub set up in your club, anything like that. I look forward to seeing you guys next week, and take care.